Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to our Toonkind at 12 FPS. I am Cydragon. I am playing the funky lizard cryptid who is everyone's favorite nightlight. Apparently, I didn't make this decision. Tessura. It's Tessura. Is there another glowing nightlight around? I don't know. But and will my lovely co-player like to introduce themselves?
Hello, my name is SuperRat66. Just call me Super. I'm playing Fivi.
Alright, and let's see. I think today Tessura is probably trying to attempt to learn more of Toontown because, like, they have a friend who lives here. They have another friend they ran into here. That's a big old sunflower. They don't really know what the deal is with that fella, but their friend. They have two friends who live in this town or city. They need to figure out what they're doing here and not be so intimidated by cities. Spoiler: they're still intimidated by cities,
hmm
but so I think today they decided today we are going to today I'm going to figure out an attempt to not get lost and get into Toontown and get out of Toontown and not get lost in between. They probably wandered in and immediately got lost.
Which we pat the lizard
I'm
gently.
I'm going to roll because I'm going to see how lost they get because I
Alright,
think they probably
so
still
you're
get lost.
rolling survival?
That's an 11. They got lost. They got sort of lost. They
Okay,
found the
alright.
main street. They stayed on the main street for a bit. Then they got turned around and wandered down a side street. But then there was like something, and then there was like traffic lights, and they couldn't get back out that side street, so they take a different side street, and they've gotten a little turned around at this point, and they're just exploring. And they'll count it a win if they can get out again at the end of the day without it being too late, so they are doing their best. And they're probably, where are they right now? Let's see. It's probably a little snowy because it is near Animus, and
hmm
not that Tess knows anything about that because, eh, they don't know much about Animus in the first place. So, like, it's snowy. Winter's nice. They like cold weather. And they're probably wandering down the side street, trying to follow traffic, question mark? They don't know what's going on. Um,
Do they
they're
follow, like...
probably... Hmm?
Sorry, after you.
No, you're good. You're good. You can keep talking.
Would they follow the noise of any crowds or footsteps, or would Tess avoid them? Would they run into an alley? What would they...
It's probably sticks to where it's not quite as crowded. Like, they're still curious at, like, what people are doing. But the instant, like, a light gets out and there's a whole crowd of people, they just... that's too many people at once. And they probably dodge to the side of the sidewalk and like, probably just like creeping along, slowly walk in. Uh, probably like glancing over at the crowd of people walking down the sidewalk like, oh dear, why are there so many people here all at once? I thought this was a not crowded part of town. They're trying.
We pat them gently. Um,
I think that they are on all fours right now. Probably just walking
pit.
around. So most tunes are their height or taller right now. But
Mm, mm,
it's still a lot of people. They
mm.
could stand up to see over the crowd, but like they don't want to do that. So they're just probably trying their best to stay to the side of the sidewalk as all these people walking around. Because I figure it's probably like lunchtime, like lunch rush. Everyone's like, oh, let's go get lunch, and then we have to go back to. It's just there's everyone around. So, hmm. Do you think we should do the Toonkind thing and roll perception? Do you think?
Yeah. All right.
It's either
See what we find around.
All right, what is perception? Every time, that's a 13. It's not great. Tess is Tess is trying to pay attention to what's around him, but he's a little distracted.
I mean, you might see some flutterings of cloaks. You'll see maybe little children running after their parents. But probably nothing in particular catching your eye. Um, maybe would you say it would be snowing? Do you think it would be snowing at lunch?
Maybe a little bit, like very lightly
A
snowing, I think.
little bit of snow, maybe a little bit of
No,
snow catching up on some dusting like some old boxes that kind of sit in the edge of the streets, that kind of deal. Um,
street clutter.
street clutter, water. Eh. It'll turn into sludge later.
Oh, definitely. It won't be this pretty for long, but it's a Toonkind. It's gotta be pretty for at least a couple days.
mm, mm, mm.
Think, hmm. Like, I'm wondering if like a whole bunch of people decide to like cross the street right as he gets to like probably like a bit like English family for a second there. Like he probably gets near like to an alleyway or something before like a bunch of kids probably run behind like Racy to the candy store or something like that. Probably yelling, and I think he gets a bit startled, and I'm gonna roll something to see what he does. Okay, that's not too bad. That's an 18. He
18.
probably just, that was rolling a whiz save. He probably just very calmly takes like 3 steps to the side into the alleyway to like let them run screaming by very loudly. Because you know how kids are. They're very loud. And Tess is not very loud. He has not been around many screaming children.
Do you want to roll perception while you're stepping into the side there?
Yeah. Yeah. That is another 18.
Nice. Okay, yeah. Uh, all right. The alley you've just sort of slid into, it's not particularly dark exactly, but if you glance over your shoulder, I think you'll see someone. You think it's a someone. Someone's usually stand up tall, so that looks like it's a someone. Just kind of, sort of, they're just kind of nearby. There's like a little sort of one of those big rubbish bin dumpsters, with like the big flappy lid thing, up and
Yeah.
down. Um, they're not rummaging in it or anything like that, but they are just kind of sort of looking in your direction, and you know that they are looking in your direction. It's kind of hard to miss the rather large amber eyes that are just staring at you from your point in the alley entrance.
Uh, that's probably, well, he can't blink because he doesn't have eyes. I keep trying to describe him as blinking, and I'm like, oh wait, right. Uh, eyeless, just big old mouth for a face. He probably, well, he rolled an 18, so I don't think he gets startled. Like, I think he gets probably a little like a slight like jolt, like, oh, there's someone there. Okay, that's not quite what I expected, but also this is a city and there's lots of people here. What? Uh, he probably glances at glances at this person, glances at the alleyway with the screaming, loud, happy children outside, and then glances back at the person. And I think he just raises one hand awkwardly, like, hello? He probably is just like, hi, hello, I don't think I saw you there. Sorry, I barged in here? Or something. There's a lot of people screaming out there. Not in a bad way,
uh,
but they're loud.
you get a rather a sort of slow but deep nod of understanding. Uh, as they kind of sort of they do raise a hand and sort of wave you in from beneath the kind of outfit that they're wearing. Uh, and they go. It is loud out there, very loud. Uh, this place is different. I have been in cities so much, but this is a lot.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I am not very good at cities myself. I was trying to learn and then learn how to get around, and then I think I got lost again. This is a recurring thing apparently now. He kind of chuckles a little bit, like, "Oh, okay. Uh, I, uh, yeah. Well, we both seem to be in sort of the same situation then."
You
Oh,
get
this.
another nod at that.
He just no. He is Tess is so off kilter because there's so many people out there. He's just like, okay. There's less people in this alleyway. I'm saying this alleyway. Sorry, stranger. Please don't mind me being here. That's all he's thinking. Um, he probably, he probably just leans against the wall, like kind of like he's still on all fours, but kind of just leans against the wall a little bit, like, oh, okay,
Uh,
less chaos. This person does not mind me staying here tentatively for at least a minute.
yeah. Uh, um, uh, this person who was a little hunched over before is sort of stands up a little bit more. Uh, she is tall. Uh, as far as I'm aware, not quite as tall as Tess, if Tess was standing up straight, but
Yeah, but
tall.
still
Like,
taller than an average tune.
you get the impression that this
Tall for
person would have to bend if they went under doorways. I'm not sure how familiar Tess is with doorways. A little bit, at
eh.
least, if my memory serves.
He he lives in the farm. He's familiar with Carmina's doorways at any rate. I'm not sure. um, I think Tess is probably still keeping his head like ducked down a little bit, where his hood's slightly falling over his face, but his teeth glow and the spikes in his back glow and the tendrils floating behind his head glow. He's pretty much a walking nightlight even in the middle of the daytime. So he's definitely just like, I'm gonna stand here and not move closer so I don't freak people out, but also nice alleyway.
Yeah, nice alleyway. Handshake.
Delightful.
um, yeah. You will notice this figure sort of looks you over a little. Uh, maybe. Just a little bit because you seem... Anyway. Um, and, she'll go... It is... The crowds are a lot. Uh, and I make do with what I had to get here, but I am lost. And that is frustrating. And she will take a step towards you. You see, she puts her hand on her chest and go, I am Fivi. What
Oh,
is your name?
I'm Tessura, but you can call me Tess if you want. Uh, yeah, I get that. The past few times I've gotten lost in this city, I kind of waited till it wasn't as crowded, and then I was able to find my way out back to somewhere familiar. But eh, eh. Why is there so many people running around like right during the middle of the day? I don't understand what's going on. Anyway, pleased to meet you.
Tess. It's a very long S at the end of that. Um,
Delightful.
and she nods again. It is a pleasure. Uh, there was something about holiday? Cities have different holidays at different times of years, and perhaps we have stumbled into one.
I I will admit I don't really know what the deal is with the holiday. I I just know that everyone talks a whole lot about Animus, and I haven't managed to get anyone to explain exactly what it means, but I'll figure it out eventually, I suppose.
Uh, you do.
I've kind of not been in cities much. There's no awkward chuckle from the lizard.
You see Phoebe dig into the bag that's attached to her side. She's going to take another couple of steps Um,
Yeah. Tess is
uh,
he's not back. He's just staying where he is.
yeah, she will just kind of lean up against the wall, and you kind of see her taking out a notebook, and she's writing something down in the notebook. Animus? It is something
That's
I
what
am
I
not
think.
familiar with.
That's what I've heard people calling it. I just know it's a whole lot of busyness, and everyone seems to talk a lot about it, and I don't know much about it. Like, I know people celebrate it a lot, and I just, uh, kind of wasn't really, kind of lived in the forest in the middle of nowhere for, like, most of my life. Didn't talk to many people, and now there's a whole lot of people in the city, and a whole lot of people, and, yeah. Kind of awkward shrug from a quadrupedal, lizard. It's a bunch of lizard can shrug.
Phoebe is gonna. You see a glint of a little bit of teeth, I guess, in the smile she gives you. From under her hood. The hood is up, but you can see the little bit of teeth just fine.
Aw, hood
Because
buddies.
yeah, hood buddies.
Yeah.
Um, there are some alleys here that might lead you to somewhere. Were you planning to go somewhere or find someone or
I guess trying to find main roads around here, or just ways around here where I can like recognize more places because I have I know at least two people who live in the city. I just get lost every time I come here. And I was trying to figure that out so I didn't get lost as much. I got lost again. So, it's about usual.
hmm, if I could
It isn't very
find a
best
helpful
control.
station, the what do you call it? I would find a map, but I have no map yet.
That's it. I, I wish I could make a map, but this is a lot different than, like, uh, cities are a lot harder to keep track of than a forest. I don't have a map of the city, but maybe we can see if someone has one somewhere. If do people make
Perhaps.
maps of cities?
The job
Yes, it
is
says.
a cartographer, I believe, and she just kind of taps the little sort of I think it's a quill pen. I think she has against what you would assume is her chin. Um, but I do not know where to find one. She kind of glances at you for a second, and then she kind of glances
Um,
back down the other alley because she kind it leads on. Again, it's not necessarily a dark alleyway. It just is. There's a couple of old bins, some rubbish bags. It's not it doesn't smell the best, but it's not the worst either. Um,
as
it's
far
not.
as Tess knows, this is an average alleyway.
It's average. It's neatish. Yeah. Um,
It's not a trash pile.
yeah. It's not a trash pile.
I think Tess just kind of tilts their head to the side, and they're like their tendrils kind of flip to one side, then back to the other. They're kind of drifting in the air, softly, and they're just like, I will admit I have no idea who would do that, but maybe there's like I know that in smaller towns there's like a thing like usually the important people for that town kind of have like they live in the center and they have like a message board or something. Maybe they'd have a map there. This place is big enough that you feel like you need a map. I don't know how people get around this place. I
you see
really,
a
really don't.
you see a big nod, and then you kind of see Phoebe glance out to where you came in, uh, and she kind of she sort of she shivers a little, and she goes, "There are things in this place that I have not seen elsewhere. I have been to towns and some small cities, but I've never seen things here. It is different. I do not want to go out there just yet.
Yeah, yeah, same. I can understand that. I don't get it either. I I will admit I am better at sneaking around than I am trying to figure out big giant roads full of people. Uh, I don't. Last time I walked into this, or not the last time, but there was one time I walked into the city and I nearly got hit by something that went along really, really fast, and I have no idea what it was, but there was a lot of them, and everyone's like, "Oh, you crossed the road at this time," but then they never explained how you tell what time you cross the road. Yeah, he kind of starts rambling a little bit, and then he kind of like shuts his mouth really tightly, like the yeah. I don't understand it at all. For the audience, he almost got hit by a car in the advance of
Ouch.
he, like he doesn't understand crosswalks because no one explained. Oh, you look for the sign for the crosswalk to turn green. No one explained that. He's just trying to follow people. He's trying. He's trying so hard, but he doesn't get it. But anyway, yeah, Tess.
Sorry, I'm just sitting here thinking I hold this lizard so soft. Um,
He's trying. He's lived under a rock.
yeah. Fivi from Firuma, who has never seen a car. Handshake.
Handshake indeed.
She has, however, seen carriages.
Tess has probably seen like wagons, but he hasn't
wagons.
really been into like crowded cities things. He hasn't been to Tessura. He has no idea about technology. But yeah, I think he kind of realizes he was rambling, shuts his mouth, and just like, ah. He's still like half leaning against the wall. Probably just, he's just, I think outside like a car honks, he just kind of jolts and stares at it and then turns back like, no, I'm not looking at you. Nah, bad.
Yeah, Phoebe will glance out briefly in that general direction with a little frown, because I don't know what was invented that would sound like a car horn. I don't know. I'm thinking like lighthouse or something, but I don't actually know. My inventions are time of wibbly wobbly at best.
Mood.
Uh, hmm. But I think Phoebe will glance back down at Tess and go, as while it is I am not familiar, Tess, perhaps should we travel into or elsewhere away from whatever that is? And you can see her chin gesture to the road outside, and well, kind of jab a thumb towards the other way of the alley. Like it doesn't end exactly, but it seems to go maybe somewhere. You're not sure.
At any rate, it'll be a side street. It's probably less crowded.
Hmm.
I think Tess is kind of he perks up a little bit. I think the like floating trundles like kind of swirl a little bit higher in the air, like yeah, I wouldn't mind. I honestly, if I can avoid that chaos, all the better. uh, yeah, yeah. Well, we aren't gonna. I mean, we're not gonna find our way around if we just stay here the whole time.
No. And you get another little kind of glint of a smile. Yeah. Yeah. And Phoebe's just gonna kind of shove off the wall, I think, and maybe sort of start walking down that alley.
Yeah, think Tess follows. He probably realized he started walking. He's like, oh, right. And then he's like, I gotta skitter a little bit and catch up.
I
He
mean,
probably stays, like, pretty level with Fivi.
Hmm.
Like, he's probably not going too far ahead and not staying too far behind. He's probably just walking alongside.
I kind of want to make them roll something. I might make Phoebe
Yes.
roll survival to see how, if they either, what kind of path they take, I suppose.
Yeah. If they blunder into the main road and have to turn around and find a different way, or if they
Yeah, yeah,
actually find a
yeah, yeah,
side
yeah.
street.
Alright, I'm gonna roll dice.
Oh,
That's a
what?
natural 20.
Oh,
Plus
my
2.
Lord.
22. Okay.
Phoebe is smart. That is a 13 from Tess. He's a little caught off guard by honking cars.
Mm. Okay. I think if we maybe the first little exit line that they come across, Fifi will glance at that way and kind of turn her head, looking in a different direction. Gently, I don't think she'd pat him on the shoulder though. She will sort of, you hear a little, almost like a really quiet hiss sort of sound, and go this way, with her head.
I think Tess was about to, like, walk that, like, he was kind of poking at the opposite way, and he was like, oh, right, why not? Okay. And he'll follow. He did not roll very well. He was about to go, oh, yes, I'll go down this way. No, wait, okay, the other way. Yes, we're going down the
Yeah.
other way.
You kind of, Phoebe sort of, like, the path you're on, again, it's not necessarily dark, but maybe it's a little overcast from the little snow. You kind of, there's a little bit of snow sort of dusting the cobblestones of this little alley, just a little bit, and some of it's sort of been scuffed by a couple of people who've traveled before, but it's relatively empty. Um, one of those kind of classic, there's a couple of those grey round bins, against the sort of slightly muddy looking brick walls. Yeah.
No one's taken a power washer to these walls in a very long time.
No, yeah, then maybe there's some decorative art around the place. Some of
Nice.
it being actual art and some of it being scribbles, as some cheeky teenagers tend to do, and non-teenagers.
Yes. I think Tess probably glances around, like, kind of curious. Like, oh, this is a road. They're doing their best to keep track of where they're walking. I'm gonna see if I can roll, like, history to see how well he's keeping track of, like,
Mm.
that's a non-natural one.
Oh
Yeah,
no!
he got thoroughly lost, and now he does not remember the way out of the town. So he's kind of just like, he was trying to, like, remember, okay, so I came in on this street, and I tried to read the name, I got most of it, walked down the side street, didn't get a chance to look at the name because everyone was crossing the road and I had to go catch up. Oh no, and it just went downhill from there.
I pet this lizard.
He also has a hard time reading because he's trying his best. He has had a little bit of a moment. It's fine.
Hang on. I'm just rolling an insight roll here. That is a 12. How much would Phoebe get from seeing Tess's thoughts and feelings on getting lost?
I think at this point, Tessa just probably came in expecting to get lost, so he's kind of probably chill about it. But he is very much following Phoebe and trying to, like, glance at road signs, but then not really. It's not quite clicking. I don't know if Phoebe can pick up on the fact that he can't really read them very fast at all, so he's probably, like, glancing down the alleyway, trying to look at it and being like, nope, no, can't be bothered, and then catching up.
Well, with a 12, I would think Phoebe would notice maybe something's off, so I think she'll sort of slow, and she'll turn to Tess, at least, and she'll go, something Something is amiss. Am I going too fast? And when she says this, you do in fact see a very teeny tiny green snake poke out from the hood. Like it is sort of maybe about the width of like two fingers, just kind of poking out on top of the hood.
Oh, tiny. I think at first Tess is still glancing down the alleyway they just passed. The base branch. I mean, he's like, no, I fully expected to get lost when I came in here. That's kind of the point, trying to find my way back out again. Um, yeah, I can't read the road signs very well, and I got turned around. At this point, I'm trying to find landmarks more than road signs because I can't really read them. So, I don't really recognize where I am at all. But I know that if I get to like the center of the city, I'm sure I'll find my way out because, take a big road out of town, and once I get out of town, I can find my way back to the farm. It'll be fine. I'll be fine.
You will be
And
fine.
he kind of tilts his head to the side when he turns back around and he sees a little tiny snake. And he kind of tilts his head to the side, but he doesn't really say anything. He's just kind of nicely looking.
Phoebe, you kind of see Phoebe. Would you say they're by one of those exits that they just passed, or would you say they're sort of around the kind of a more of a wall? Um,
Well, if they just passed one, it probably would be like the entrance would be able to be like a couple feet farther down from where they're standing now.
okay. Phoebe's gonna kind of look up in the general direction that that exit was in and go, there are some languages that I cannot read, because I don't know what the signage of Inkwell is like or Toontown is like. Phoebe can't read Grolix.
It's probably common, I would think, in
Uh,
a major city because like there's probably Railkind living here too. So
there would be. But
yeah,
yeah.
Tess just has trouble reading in general though, let alone what language. He only speaks Common and Grunts to begin with, so like
Pat, pat, pat.
he just can't win when it comes to road signage. It's fine. If he couldn't read
Is
road signs, he probably wouldn't get so lost.
mm, Phoebe's gonna gesture towards the that again to that exit and go, do you know what it is that you're seeking? Is it a name of a street? I could read it if it's in common.
Well, I only got the name of the street I walked in on, but I can find my way out once I get out of the city. Out of the city is the easy part. I can figure out forests. I can figure out roads. I City roads are a whole different thing. So honestly, I just figured I'd find my way to the center and then take a big road out again.
You see, Phoebe doesn't blink very much, but so she's just kind of looking at you, staring a little bit. But it doesn't seem like a harsh stare. It's sort of there's a tiny sparkle of maybe a bit of admiration when you mentioned that you know the forests more so than the cities and stuff. Like maybe there's a bit of shared kindredness there, but she will sort of nod. Uh, uh, I might need to roll. I would like to. I think I'm gonna get her to roll. There's no cartography map thing.
Uh, Maybe survival or history?
Potentially, I
Or
kind of want to see if
either.
there was any rough. Because when you're in a city, things usually sort of have a turning point from going from big old city centers with skyscrapers and stuff. And while Phoebe may not be used to skyscrapers, Toontown would definitely possibly have forms of skyscrapers or, you know,
All buildings are
the
very
enormous tall
great.
buildings. Yeah, yeah, very
Yeah.
toonishly shaped, and they're probably a little bit weird for her. But there would be the
You can
point.
probably tell a more occupied city at any rate. Like
Yeah.
there's bigger buildings, which means there's more people, which means it's probably the center. Versus like, oh, there's a whole bunch of houses. This is probably more residential stuff.
Mm, like there would be more greenery the more, in theory, the more greenery the farther out you got from the city main urban area. So I'm gonna see if we can sort of figure out roughly which direction that would be in.
Yeah.
Yeah, alright.
Because my argument is Tess can't figure it out because all these people are running hustle and bustle to and fro. Got to get our lunch. Whether they're leaving the town center or they're going back from their lunch break, Tess has gotten thoroughly confused.
Okay. I'm a roll. I'm a roll. I'm a roll. That's
And they're
alright.
in an alleyway. So
Yeah. I mean, it's the
if they got
afternoon,
out
so
of
the sun's high in the sky. So that was an 18. Plus survival.
chug some water real quick.
That's a dirty 20.
Oh
Phoebe,
snap! Nice.
Phoebe got some nice rolls here today, apparently.
The dice like her.
I think Phoebe's not exactly here to leave the city. Not exactly looking to, sort of more wandering around, looking for her own stuff at the moment. But I would
Yeah.
say she would at least know roughly which direction. Like maybe there's some, I don't know if there's rolling hills or anything like that, but perhaps she can point out that direction that's the less, uh, what do you call it?
Yeah, like the
The
more like
more going back
outskirts
into
of
the,
Toontown looking areas.
yeah, the more of the
Hmm.
rural, rural,
Yeah.
rural area of the city, which would at least point you in the right direction of, that's roughly where you would need to go.
I think Tess will I think they're probably looking out of the alleyway at like at this like glancing up and down the like road, and Tess will probably nod to themselves and then be like, "Okay, well, at least I know which way is out, but I'm also trying to like learn how to get around the city, so this is good. Okay, I can if that's out, then I know where then I can figure out where the center of the city is, which means that goal achieved, I can get there, and then I can find a big road out again. Okay, we got directions. Hey, hey, nice. Directions are good.
Directions. And there's another kind of grin on Phoebe's face because hooray.
Yay!
uh, she's going to glance at Tess from this little alley entrance, and I wouldn't know how long you've sort of gotten in the alley. Maybe, I mean, you could walk a long time, 15, 20, half an hour. I'm not sure how long they've been in there, but
Maybe 5 or 10 minutes in this specific alleyway. Like it's probably
mm-hmm.
it probably parallels a really long street. Anyone who wants to get the other side of the block has to walk a ways. I've had streets like that. There's no shortcuts. But yeah, I think Tesla kind of just nods to himself and be like, "So you said you wanted to find the center, find a map somewhere? We can. I don't mind helping look for that because that can actually help me too. Be nice to have a map of this place. I have no idea."
In my experience, which before this place I would say would be a little, somewhat, but this is new. I would normally say the biggest buildings would be where to go. The one with the clock face would indicate a town hall. I have seen those. Um, but yes, a map would be good. Perhaps if there were more people, and you kind of, at this point, you see the funny kind of look on her face. It is a weirdly expressive version of a question mark. Like, it's not... Phoebe looks a bit... There's a lot of different types of toons, and Phoebe doesn't really meet toons very much at the moment, so, you kind of... I don't know, it's... Phoebe will just sort of sigh, and go, yes, I do wish to have a map. If you are willing to accompany me to find this map, that would be good.
Yeah, yeah, I can do that. I think I would like a map too. And two people can look for something better than one person can. Usually. Yeah. Tess just nods himself like, yes, I can help with this. I don't know how, but I'm sure gonna try.
You get another, sort of a slow nod from Phoebe. And then, I don't know, what next?
I mean, well, they can either try and like stick to the alleyways and try and make their way to the other side of the city of the hills, like towards the center of the city where the big tall buildings are, or they can take like the sidewalks. I think it's up to where Phoebe goes. Tess will probably follow, like sticking to like more of the shadows or walking the quicker routes.
I'm gonna roll a really quick perception to see. Well, actually, I won't roll perception actually. But you kind of get a little note from Phoebe that goes. She makes a little noise in her throat and goes, I would prefer if we did not encounter the crowds as we did back then. Perhaps should we travel in the alleys until we get closer?
Yeah, I think I would prefer that too because like I I can deal with the busy stuff and all the people and the big fast things, but I don't prefer them. So yeah, we can see how far this will get us. And he's probably glancing down. He's probably turned and is glancing back down the alleyway away from the big street again, like, oh, okay, we gotta figure out how to get that direction while staying in this thing. Okay. I think he'll probably start venturing down, back down towards sticking probably to this, like, closer to the side of the alleyway so there's room for two people to walk.
Yeah, I like that a lot. um, yeah. Uh, should we do
That's
another
easy.
another roll
Yeah.
then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, his survival's better than his history. But I also think that he might roll perception to like. I might say he can roll perception to try and like keep track of the road sounds and like try and move parallel to them.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna roll perception. I think that's a nat 1. Tess,
No!
level 1.
All right, I wasn't going to roll because Phoebe doesn't know where she's going. She's
I
going to
love
let
it.
Tess leave, but ouch.
Tess probably turns to glance back at the road and then like stumbles into like one of the bins of like a Trip's face. I think because he was like, okay, so if the road's there, oh no. And he might it's just like, somehow I'm not surprised. And he probably scrambles upright to all 7 feet tall of this lizard and kind of brushes his cloak off because he's probably knocked stuff over. He was trying to make sure it didn't get on him. He's kind of brushing off his cloak like, oh, okay, this is fine. And there's just kind of quiet sigh. And he's just trying to get like, I don't know, like dust and dirt and snow slide off of his cloak now.
Uh,
He's he's very tall.
Phoebe is very tall. Phoebe is going to approach, and she doesn't have to. She does have to crane her neck a little bit, but not as much as like she is tall.
It's only
But
like
Tess is
a
taller.
foot, and Tess. It's only like a foot, and Tess kind of is like hunched over, trying to brush off like the bottom of his cloak
Mm,
too. So,
uh, you'll see Phoebe kind of raise a hand and kind of you may see her looking like she wants to get something off your shoulder, one of your shoulders.
probably doesn't he probably doesn't really make any sudden movements. He probably just continues
Okay,
brushing off
cool.
his thing.
You you
It's
f-
like,
you feel something get flicked off your shoulder.
aw. It was probably probably near the package where I couldn't really see it. Probably. I think there's a quiet chuckle from Tess. It's just like, you know, you you'd think you'd think I'd be able to keep track of where I'm walking, but sometimes being on all four legs is just, hmm. I still can't, I just, can't seem to win.
You hear a sort of a soft hiss. It's not quite a laugh, but it's sort of like a sort of under the breath, yes, kind of deal. Uh,
Aw.
I do not go on all fours or slither on my belly, as some may have said, but there are benefits to to many sort of feats. Yes, I don't know where that was going. Um, and she kind of looks a bit like she doesn't quite know where her words are going because Super doesn't know where her words are going. And she's kind of like
Flowers.
another thing that's just sort of sitting on Tessa's hood, like it's a little frustratingly annoying clump of snow that's kind of slipped off there. So she's gonna bump that off.
There's a there's another quiet chuckle from Tess, and he's like, "Yeah, I, I don't. I will admit I don't stand up much because people seem to get a little weirded out by me being very, very tall. I don't. At this point, I've just kind of gotten used to it. That's kind of, if people like me being shorter and walking around on four legs, I don't really care, to be honest. Uh, he kind of turns aside and picks up the bin and kind of shoves stuff into it, like with the side of his foot, and then tilts, like shoves it back upright, and then
Mm-hmm.
he kind of sighs, and he kind of just like probably rubs his face with one hand, and yeah, do you want to roll perception?
Yes. Perception?
Yes, or I mean, I could roll insight. God.
Nah, it's the same for both. Perception. Perception! That is a 17 total.
Nice.
Phoebe still
Well,
rolls, okay.
I'll take it. Tess rolled to that one. Phoebe can have the good rolls. I'll
Oh
give it.
no.
Yeah, she's welcome to the good rolls. It's very funny this way. Tess, well, he was rubbing his face, and the hood probably got pushed back a little bit with the side of his arm. And yeah, this lizard just has a giant mouth for a face.
It also glows, technically.
It very much glows, especially because you know the hood casts shadow over his face, but also like the teeth glow, and like now like Phoebe's up close, you can actually see Tess's face. And it's kind of just like he really just rubs his face, just like, yeah.
Mm, yes, okay, I will... hang on, I need to just double check something quickly. Uh, I
Congrats, Phoebe. That person you've been walking with is a cryptid now, not just a weird lizard.
what is it? What is it? Where are the... I don't know where it is. I was gonna look for something. Can I roll? I'm gonna roll intelligence, I think, because I want to see if Phoebe can think of something.
Yeah, yeah.
13, 14, 15. Okay, that was a 15 total intelligence. Hmm. Okay. Phoebe's kind of, you see the two large amber eyes, sort of just tilt to the side. She tilts her head. That tiny snake is still there. It's just it sort of lifts up a little bit, like, what is this kind of a deal? Um, and Phoebe will go, you are, you are a Toon? Yes? But is this... You kind of see her hands gently sort of gesture at Tess, go, is this magic? And she's just... yeah, she doesn't have any other questions other than that, but there's a weird... You kind of get the
This,
feeling from the way her hands are sort of waving a little bit about, she just doesn't really understand what
aw.
Tess is exactly, in the sense of, I don't know if Tess would understand that it's not
Well,
Tess exactly, but more like the kind of the glow, the, like your spines glow, your teeth glow? Is that a spell?
if it is, Tess kind of just Tess probably blinks for like not blinks, but kind of just takes a second, and then he's just like, if it is, I I am definitely not the one casting it, and I have no idea how it does that. I've just always glowy, like my
It is a nice glow. I was just curious.
I think Tess probably opens his mouth slightly and then shuts it. It just there's a second where it's just like that's not the reaction he expected. But also I hope it's very soft. And he's just like, oh, thank you. I yeah, I kind of always been like this. You know, glowy glowy spikes and glowy teeth and glowy everything and uh yeah, the, you
I,
get a lot of funny looks when you're like 7 feet tall and you have no actual face. But well, I mean I got a mouth, that's all the face I have. He kind of I think he probably tilts his head to the side. He's like, well, I guess I mean I want to do something else, but also I'm curious like what else like if Phoebe reacts to that at all.
mm, Phoebe, you kind of get the, like, she will kind of, you see one of her hands reach for the bag, like she wants to grab something out of it. And then she kind of pauses, it's like, and then she just kind of lets it drop. Uh, she's, yeah, but hmm, she doesn't look, frightened or anything like that. I think she just looks, she looks interested. She's curious.
Oh, delightful. Well,
Like
I think
your
Tess
your
probably
spikes, I would say your glow might also be sort of almost would do. Would you say the words
babble.
descriptions, uh, blue light lighting up the alley bricks a little?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
they're
yeah.
probably maybe they walked around the corner of a building that's like in the shadow from like where the sun is, even though it is a little bit overcast, and it's like there's a little bit more glow. And I think Tess kind of tilts his head a little bit, thinking to himself, and he's like, I mean, I do have magic, but like it's a little weird. At least that's what people keep telling me. But I mean, it's just how I do magic, I guess.
Phoebe is just, her eyes are very wide, very bright, and it's kind of
Aw.
weird. You see the little tiny snake that was still raising up, but then you kind of see at least like two other little sort of tiny bumps that look like it might be the size of the snake kind of poke out from the hood as well. Like, you know, you got a couple of snakes poking out of the hood now. Um,
Aw.
like, uh, this is exciting. This is, what is this? Um, and
Toasties.
she'll go, magic is interesting. It is something I want to research. It is the source of my travels. This is, all magic, I think, is good. And she's gonna raise her hand up, and I think you'll see a little spark jump in it a bit.
Delightful.
Yeah.
I mean, Tess kind of tilts it to the side a little bit, and he's like, "Oh, but that's cool. I've seen magic before, but everyone's seems to be mostly different than mine, but it's still very cool."
Phoebe nods, but also
Yeah.
like she just looks she's very excited because magic.
I think Jess is gonna he's probably gonna hold his hand out. Probably not at not in the direction of Phoebe, probably like off to the side of
Yeah,
both of
yeah, yeah,
them.
yeah.
And I think he's gonna cast dancing lights, and
Ooh.
there's gonna be a little kind of like a little medium size like not an orb. It's like a sparky flashing like thing that kind of just like pops and like glitches on the edges, and there's kind of like a little snap like of like kind of like it's not quite lightning because it's kind of like glitching and the colors like shifting a little bit, and then it'll kind of just snap like for one frame it'll snap to like a different position, they'll go back again. It's very it's not a normal dancing lights as cast by like a wizard.
Mm.
It's very much a this is a light. It is weird.
Phoebe is just staring at this light jump about from place to place. Uh,
There's just one just hovering above Tess's like outstretched hand.
I mean,
It's just kind of
would you say that it's, I mean, it's a dancing light spell and you do cast more light about the place. Do you want to roll perception for me?
delighted to. I mean, has Phoebe seen other tunes like use magic before?
Not to this extent and not close up, no.
Okay. Okay. Well, I don't know what you were gonna tell me to roll, but that's a 4.
For, ooh, in total, for
Not
perception?
perception. 7.
7, okay.
7 with one to add 3.
Alright,
Oh,
okay.
Tess.
A 7 is low, but that doesn't mean you don't get nothing. I think with a 7, the light does cast up light into the hood. I think in the very least you see sort of you see Phoebe's face. It's the sort of like it's grey, um, mostly just grey, and in the middle of that there is the large amber eyes that just kind of sit there. You can sort of see there is definitely uh, the little, what does in fact look like a green snake sitting on top of her head, maybe, you think? Maybe sitting on her head, you're not quite sure. Um, but
Just Nick.
she just looks like she's just wide eyes watching this magic ball jump about the place to place. Like you've shown her something so new and so fantastic. She's yeah.
Aw, I hold her soft.
Ah.
uh, I think Tess is kind of thinking to himself for a moment, and then he kind of what does he do? Tess, what do you do? Tell him what you're doing. He probably like turns his hand over, letting it like float to the back of his hand, then back in. He's just like letting it hover above his hand. Um, and it still snaps and glitches and crackles a little bit, not audibly, but like visually crackling. um, it's not a very cohesive little orb of light. And he probably I don't know if he comments on it, but he probably would glance at the snake, like tilt his head at it, and then back at the thing. And then he might glance back at the snake. Just kind of, I think he's trying to figure out, like, if you want to roll insight, you can.
I'm gonna
But,
roll insight.
Tess is
Uh,
trying to figure out if that's, like, a pet that's chilling in a hood or something.
okay. That's a 10. 10 for insight.
Well, Tess is glancing at Phoebe. At Phoebe's face, I guess. But he's not really saying anything. He's just glancing at it
Hmm.
between it and the light. Because, fun fact, Tess has not really cast magic in a long, long time. And this is like, oh, someone
Oh,
is interested in
it
it.
is my turn to
Oh,
hold this
oh.
lizard soft.
And he's just like, oh, okay, I can show you my really weird magic that people seem to take offense to sometimes, but, because it's not correct magic or some other nonsense that no one's bothered to explain to me. He's just
Mm.
like, okay, I have magic. Disclaimer that is weird, but I have magic. But he is glancing at Phoebe, between Phoebe and the light.
Mm. Um, I think with a 10, she would get, I mean, some of that at least, but I think what she's
Yeah, she
going,
gets that he's glancing, but I don't
mm,
think she'd get what he's specifically looking at.
no, but I think she's gonna do something automatic. You kind of, when you keep glancing at her hood, she is going to reach up and gently, you just very gently with one hand, just sort of poke the snake back under the hood. And while yes, it's obvious, but also just sort of you get the feeling that after she pokes the snake back in, she then adjusts the hood a little bit gently and mm, like it's sort of more of a and she's just gonna sort of sigh and look at sigh and sigh. Sorry, she's gonna sigh
Ah,
and look
ominous.
at Tess, um, and go. You have a question. Hmm. You kind of see her glance down to the ground for a sec, and she's gonna look back up and go. It is a fine thing for that magic to be as it is. Uh, you get the kind of feeling that she's just kind of just a little bit more angsty now that you've kind of just
Aw.
glanced at her a little bit, and she doesn't move away or anything like that, but she's not
I
quite
think,
looking at you in the face exactly.
aw. I think Tess is kind of... Tess might not know exactly what happened, but also, like, he probably gets the whole keeping a hood up thing. Because, he also wears a hood to try and hide the fact that he has no eyes.
Pat, 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 pat.
And, yee. And he's probably just like, I mean, I, sorry if I made you feel uncomfortable. Wasn't, that wasn't what I didn't mean to do that. Sorry.
Phoebe is
I'm kind of,
immediately going to look at you very wide-eyed and go, and there's a second where she doesn't say anything, but like very wide-eyed, and then she'll go, ah, no, 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 it is a habit. She will, hmm, you will see at that, and she just kind of, she doesn't quite take off her hood, but she just kind of lift a finger and sort of flick it up a little. And the snake, one of the snakes at least, sort of curls out from underneath her finger. And
aw.
she'll go, it is... And she'll pause and she'll go, you are nice? Most do not apologize. And she says that with a grimace.
Uh, Yeah, Hey, do you want to roll insight on Tess?
Yes! I'm gonna roll inside on Tess, I think. I think this is
Because I
this.
hold these two so soft.
I'm gonna roll inside. Oh, fudge.
These
Okay,
wear
well,
the
here's.
same hat. These wear
Ow,
the same hat.
same hat, but that's a 6, Phoebe. Okay.
Eh,
Phoebe's a bit Phoebe's a bit flummoxed, and yeah,
that's
she
valid.
wasn't
That's valid.
expecting someone to go sorry.
Aw,
Oh.
Tess is kind of. There's kind of a. I mean, okay. Tess? What do you do in what order? I'm trying to figure out what he does in what order.
Mm.
There's. Well, I mean, when she like lifts the hood a little bit, like Tess is like the tendrils on Tess's head kind of flick forwards, like kind of curling a little bit, like oh, and he kind of just like kind of perks up a little bit, but like slightly. He's still trying to stay like he's trying to stay pretty still, but also like oh, there's a little snake head. It's cute. And I think when she says the second half of what she was talking about, there's kind of sighs very quietly. It's just like, I think I understand that feeling a lot because, well, let's just say I don't look like usual tunes very much, and a lot of don't like that. They don't like very tall, weird, uncanny, I think, tunes. I think people.
Phoebe doesn't know what uncanny is, but I'm sitting here all
Tess
looking
doesn't.
like
Tess
yes.
doesn't eat. Tess doesn't much either. He's kind of been told this secondhand, and he's only been down the uncanny valley once. So like, all he knows is uncanny equals weird, and
Mm.
Tess is like, my magic's not like other tunes. I haven't seen those tunes look like me very much. So yeah, no, I'm probably something like that. And he kind of just is like, eh, yeah, people. At least it's not their fault much, but people don't seem to like some people don't seem to like people that stand out much. He
Phoebe
kind of
gives
gestures at himself, and
Phoebe
he's just
gives
like,
a sorry.
the
Phoebe's
very
going to give a
tall, so tall.
Phoebe's going to give a big nod at that.
He's tall.
um,
He glows. He's got a big old toothy mouth for a face. Tess does not blend in.
uh, Phoebe will go after giving that big nod. Will go. You have been. This place is so new. It is. It's just there are so many everyone's, and you kind of get the feeling that as she gestures her hands up, she's kind of talking about the population of Toontown in general because there's a lot of different people there, and Phoebe's sort of just glanced around the place, but it is a lot. It is a new place. It is a new culture for Phoebe. So, um, um,
I mean, same for Tess, really, because like
mm,
he's mostly been in small towns where everyone knows everyone and they don't get many strangers,
mm,
and or like travel like passerby tourist town type things. And neither one of these two are extremely fond of characters that look like sketchy ne'er-do-wells, but also extremely capable ne'er-do-wells.
mm.
So he's just there's kind of like half relief chuckle from Tess. He's just like, yeah, hmm, I I'm still learning the whole town thing. I mean, so far they haven't tried to kick me out, which is an improvement. I'll take that.
Phoebe will once again just adjust the hood back again. Uh, yeah, she doesn't exactly push the snake back, but she does just kind of fix the hood a little bit more.
Yeah, I think Tess is still rambling a little bit. He's just like, and I have met some nice people that don't mind, and very nice. So I don't know. Maybe you'll find that too. And I don't know. There's a lot more people out in the world than just than where I grew up.
Phoebe's gonna nod at that and go, "You have been pleasant, uh, pleasant enough, Tess. Thank you."
Yeah. Well, you're welcome. Kind of just he doesn't quite know how to handle that. He's just like,
It's
oh,
it's good
okay.
company, and she likes company. I don't know. Um,
Aw. He's just like, oh, compliments. Ah, Tess.exe has stopped responding.
that. That's so. Um, we might need to wrap this up soon. I think we have gone over time.
So good. Yeah. I mean, no one's after us, but like, yeah. Uh, I think, yeah, I think Tess might, gesture further, like, where, like, along the path they were walking on and be like, well, we can keep trying to find the town center if you want.
I would, yes. I still seek a map. And she's going to not quite touch it, but she will look at the dancing light spell at least, which
Yeah.
she may not know as dancing light, but it is big glowy ball which glitches, but she doesn't have the word for glitch, so big glow thing. Um, does that last?
Sorry, your Discord decided to cut out for a second.
Sorry,
What'd you say?
she said, does that last a while?
Tess kind of tilts their head to the side. It's like, I mean, it can. I've it's lasted a while for me, but I'm probably not gonna keep it up just 'cause the people in Toontown don't seem to care as much as some of the towns I've been to, but also I don't really show people my magic. And he kind of trails
Yes.
off at the end.
Ah, yes. It is fine. It was more if we were to use the alley for the that this might be in handy, but if we are traveling along the main-ish roads, like we may not need it. Yeah.
So Trust will nod, and he's like, I mean, I can, if it'll be helpful, I can keep it out until we get to a big road with a bunch of people. I don't mind. He's kind of still like, turning his hand like over and then back again, and like kind of just like letting it hover above his hand.
Oh,
He's just
he's
playing with
doing
it.
the kind of the flippy hand thing that like a magician can do with the ball,
Yeah,
with that kind of
yeah.
thing. Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah,
that,
yeah.
but it's magically hovering, so it's not really as immersive of a trick. But he's just having fun.
Mm, no, it's good. Phoebe's just kind of eyeing that, and you get the sense that she's still very curious about it. Like it is exciting. Like, yeah,
Aw.
yeah, magic,
Well,
magic, good.
yeah, I think he'll keep it out, and if they start walking, he'll kind of let it like it'll be like between them, so it's not like as visible from to passersby if anyone else like pokes their head out the back door
Mm.
of their building or whatever. So yeah, I think. Hmm. You want to say they keep walking, or do you want to do like them finding a map, or I don't know where you want to go with
Uh,
this.
Neither do I. I think just sort
Valid.
of slightly walking around a little more towards the center of town, I guess, for now. Maybe you drop Phoebe off, so to speak, somewhere. Um, or at least maybe another helpful tune points out them to them in the general direction of where they could find a map. Um,
Oh yes, the
if it's
town hall is
quieter.
there, and it has maps.
Yes,
and
it's
they
like,
and then
thank you.
and then they get like to the town hall, and everyone's like running around the edge of the square, but no one really has a reason to go into town hall during lunch break. There's no restaurants
Mm,
in there, so
time's
it's
passed it
probably
a
quiet.
little bit, I would hope. So maybe it's less lunch break
Yeah.
busy, more going back into work busy. So most people are sort of back in their home local areas, maybe in a cafe or something at this point. But
Yeah. It's probably calmed down enough where they can, like, venture into the actual square without getting overrun by everyone.
yeah. So I'd say that they go in that direction. Um, maybe we find a town build, maybe not a town hall, but a town building, uh, and maybe you kind of stop off there, and then I think Phoebe's going to. I'm going to roll one more thing because I'm going to just see if Phoebe can spot the direction she could point Tess in if Tess is still looking to go out of town.
Yeah.
Alright, one more survival. Yeah, no, that's a
Cool.
4.
Yeah, Tess got a 15, so I
Okay.
think he's probably spotted a very big road leading out of town, and he's like, I didn't get turned around in alleys the entire day. This is good. Uh, so
Yay!
he's probably spotted, like, the main road out of the town square,
Mhm.
heading back out of Toontown. He's like, oh, okay, I don't know where specifically I am, but I know that if I take that road, I should get back out there, which means I should get to the farm, probably before even this dinner time. That'll work. He's kind of talking to himself, but he's talking out loud. So
Phoebe will kind of... Mm, actually, as you've tested in mind, I think Phoebe will gently tap Tess's leg, shoulder,
yeah,
back,
shoulder
question
probably.
mark, somewhere,
Yeah,
just to get Tess's attention a little at least, and she'll go, "Thank you. I hope I see you around, Tess."
Oh, yes, you too. I'm I'm not much of a city person, but I am getting a little better at it. So I don't know if you're around the city for long, but yeah. I mean,
For
it's
a
good to meet
time.
you.
Hmm.
He kind of probably chuckles a little bit, like, oh, yeah. I think, yeah, I think that can be a good spot to end it.
Okay. Alright. Well,
Their camera pans out. Tess is walking back. Tess has found a way out of town. Success. Phoebe has got a map. Even better success.
yeah!
Tess might have glanced at it and then realized it has a whole lot of road names and it's probably written very tiny handwriting. He's just like, all right, so I can remember where this building is, and I'm coming back when I can make my own notes in larger handwriting that I can read better. Because it'll probably take him like most of the day to like figure out the map. He's just like, this is a problem for another day.
Mm.
Like, you know how they write like when they have like all the little like tiny road names written really small on the map. He just looks at that. He's like, oh, I'm not even trying.
Hmm. Alright. Yay! I'm going to stop the recording in a moment. Should we say
Yeah.
bye to the audience?
Bye bye, and thank you all for listening, both now and in the future.
Yeah.
And I hope you all have a good day,
Thank you.
whatever time of day it is.
Yeah. Bye.